Good to see you, George. A little bit tricky from the outside, at least for us, to get a read on your team's pace, especially over one lap. What kind of perspective can you give us?
I mean, it was a quite a strange day out there, I think, for everybody. You know, Budapest is an amazing track to drive, but they've resurfaced half of the track. Super bumpy, a lot of it's breaking up around the last couple of corners, which is making it quite strange to drive on. Our single lap didn't look great, the long run looked more competitive, but yeah, what we, I guess, essentially feared with Ferrari seemed to be the case. You know, they look very, very strong.
Yeah. In terms of deployment, obviously it isn't a track where you have necessarily big concerns, but in terms of the team finding the solution for the issue you had, was there no evidence today to counter that?
I've got to be honest, okay? I actually didn't really look at it because I just trusted in the team that everything has been resolved, and we knew anyway coming into this weekend, even if we had the exact same issue as last week, the difference would have probably been 10% of what we saw last week, just because of the nature of the circuit. So this weekend's a totally different beast. You know, it's these power units are pretty impressive on this short track, having sort of 350 kilowatts out of all of the corners, and the rear tyres are getting blasted around the lap. So as I said, we've got work to do as a team. Ferrari are a good step ahead of everyone right now.
Yeah, right now, but overnight, are you hopeful you can be in that fight for pole?
Yeah, I mean, I think for both Kimi and I, the car was far from great, to be honest, and we think there is room to improve. It was really windy today, and I think the wind is going to be shifting, so that could be changing a lot.
Thank you. Good to see you, Charlotte. On the face of it, looked like a strong day for the team, and a strong day for you too.
Yeah, it was a relatively strong day. From the beginning I felt quite good with the car, and performance seemed to be good from the straight away. So that's a good thing, but the weekend is still long. From the Friday to the Saturday, we see teams making a jump of performance. Normally we are on the back foot on the Friday, so it's a good thing that we have a good Friday, but we still need to stay on it and work hard in order to get better for tomorrow.
I think Lewis had an extra lap on you and replaced you at the top. Qualifying is very, very important here. You've got a bit of a buffer at the moment. Do you sense that'll get tighter tomorrow?
It's going to be tight tomorrow, as always. I don't expect us to be having the gap that we've had today, so we'll have to do everything perfect. But if the feeling is there, then I'm sure we'll do a good job in Q2.
Obviously, you missed the first session. How did you assess things in practice too?
Very, very challenging for sure. I think the track conditions are pretty challenging out there, very windy. The new parts of the track are not very grippy, and they're kind of not breaking apart, but they're very worn. So it's just a very challenging circuit at the moment. And yeah, obviously missing a practice session's made it pretty tough.
Yeah, in terms of getting to grips with the new parts, only having the one session, how on top of those, how best can you exploit those, or look at them overnight to best exploit them?
I didn't have them today, so I think on Lando's car they've been working as we expected, which is good. I don't think they've completely changed the car, which obviously we weren't expecting, but would have been nice. But yeah, we'll see what it's like on my car tomorrow, and hopefully we can have a successful day.
Yeah, just in terms of the spread of times, more than we normally see here at Hungary, what's your best hope in terms of where you could be fighting in qualifying?
I don't know yet. I think the Ferraris have looked very quick in both sessions, but I think Lando looked competitive in that one especially, and yeah, I think the Mercedes is very hard to read. So yeah, let's wait and see tomorrow. But I think if we execute a good day, then it seems like there can be a lot up for grabs.
Thank you.
You finally got your hands on the upgraded Aston Martin. You got a decent run, I thought, at least this morning. How did the afternoon go as well?
Yeah, it was as expected. I think it was tricky with the red flags and some of the traffic to maximize the laps. So maybe there is a little bit more to come from our side, but maybe it's the same for everybody. So let's see tomorrow. Concentrated on testing the new parts and try to understand the setup direction, which maybe can be very different than what we used to run in the last few events. So I think there is more potential to unlock hopefully tonight and into tomorrow's quali.
I know you're super experienced and you must get a feel for a car in the first few laps on like whether or not it feels better. Does this one feel better?
Sure. It was it was much better. The car feel more glued to the ground and easier to drive to an extent. When you are in control of the grip in the corners. So more predictable and easier car. But still a long way to go for us. Obviously, this is only the first step. We need to find more performance, both on the chassis, but also on the engine now. Zambor will be a good test for us with a new engine. So, step by step, but definitely in the right direction.
I think your best lap got deleted for track limits. You had been closer 2.5 seconds off the pace. That is a big step for you guys. In terms of once you get this package working, you add all those extra bits you said, it does look good. One day I know, but it does look good, doesn't it?
It looks better for sure, and it's more or less what we expected, which is the most encouraging thing is that what we thought the new package will do to the car actually translate into reality on track, and that kind of correlation is what we need also for next year's project. So I think there is a positive atmosphere in the team now.
With Isaac, challenging conditions out there for everyone. The track has not gripped up, so how do you overall assess your day?
Very tricky FP2. I thought FP1 was tough enough. It got worse in FP2, bit of wind. So hard to get a proper read with the changes we made. Seems like, the car is working okay, it's just that the Ferrari are way stronger. So we've got find quite a bit of lap time tonight. Long run seemed pretty good, but that one lap pace we're lacking.
Yeah, and the one lap pace obviously very important around here. A bit of a worry, just how quick the Ferraris in particular were.
I knew they were going to be quick on a track like that. At the moment, I think we're waiting for Mercedes to wake up, and like always, I think it's going to be very close with the McLarens, so that's where we are at the moment.
Hi Sergio. Obviously it looked like really difficult conditions out there today for everybody, but how did you find it? What were the kind of learnings from the day?
Yeah, the wind was pretty strong out there today, so especially in FP2 it seemed like it picked up quite a bit, make things a little bit harder. Generally, I think we need to get the balance in a better window. I think it's clear for us what we need to follow or to do from our side, and I think that will translate into a better race pace as well for Sunday.
So how are you feeling sort of entering into tomorrow for qualifying? Where do you think you might sort of be standing for that?
I think it's really close. Everything on the back of the grid, with the Aston Martin seem to have found quite a bit of pace. So I think they will be quite strong. So it will be interesting to see where we end up.
Well, Gabby, looks competitive again with the team that you seem to be racing with at the moment, which is Racing Bulls. How do you assess your Friday practice?
Yeah, positive day. A bit more tricky in FP2 with the soft, just a bit all over the place. Not really happy with the balance, but things to test, things to be done, and I think it was a successful day overall. I think we collected a lot of information, and tomorrow we try to put things together and have a good day.
Yeah, it's a very important qualifying, obviously. How tricky is it to keep that tyre life for the entirety of the lap?
It's tricky because here it's a track that you overheat a lot, obviously the rear axle especially, but it's more tricky to keep the car on track, if I'm honest. Today was super windy, and just driving literally all over the place and sideways, especially in the last corner. We have seen also other cars crashing, so not the easiest ones, but also had fun today, so we do it tomorrow.
And just in terms of that battle with Racing Bulls, you think you've both shown your hand a little bit? How closely fought will it be?
Let's see, it's going to be close like it is always, but I think we put things together, everything aligned, and we can.
Hi Pierre. Obviously it looked like really tricky conditions out there today for everybody. How would you kind of sum up the day from your perspective?
It's been a very, very tricky Friday. We clearly don't have the car in the place we would like. The balance is off, and we're struggling a lot with the grip, the conditions. So very tough, and hopefully we can find a few answers for tomorrow.
looking ahead to tomorrow, where are you kind of looking at where your battle might be? Obviously, you're close with Racing Bulls at the moment in the teams championship.
I mean, I think at the moment we just got to make sure we get to Q2, and I think Q3 is definitely not on the cards for this weekend. So we'll try to be as close as we can from the top 10.
Well, Alex, how do you assess today? Tricky conditions out there. Everyone's explaining with the wind, with the basic level of grip.
Yeah. If it's tough for them, it's tougher for the teams at the back. So it's quite disconnected at the moment. The wind, the temperature, the tarmac. Hard to understand what's set up, what's not, what's out of your control, and what not. Tomorrow the wind's going to change 180 degrees. So whatever you do to the car, it will always feel different tomorrow. So let's see what we can try to pick out. Low fuel pace looks reasonable, respectable for what we normally have. High fuel pace is slow, so yeah.
Yeah. How was the car under braking? It's always a big deal here. Were you able to improve that performance over the course of the day?
Very marginally, yeah. We still have some work to do. I think we've made some improvements from FP1 to FP2. Honestly, if I did FP2 again and to go quicker, I think I would find half a tenth. So I think we've maxed out what we have, and now it's just we're here until qualifying.
Yeah. Aston Martin finally obviously brought a big upgrade. Are they an extra factor in Q1 for you? Are they on your radar a little bit? Does it make getting into Q2 that bit more difficult potentially?
Yeah, at the moment, from what I've seen, at least in FP1, they were quicker than us in all the corners. So obviously they're a bit on the back foot down the straights, but they were still quick enough through the corners to be quicker than us. So I don't know where Fernando was in FP2, but yeah, we have our work cut out.
Hi Arvid. Obviously look like really tricky conditions out there today for everybody, but look like a good start to the weekend for the team. How do you assess how it went today?
I think it was all right. I think overall it's been decent. A few things to work on, but I think we're not in a bad place. I think there's a few things on my side that I'm going to try and make a step on for tomorrow, but overall reasonably confident.
And if you kind of make those steps, what are you kind of thinking for tomorrow? What are the expectations for where you might be in the mix?
I think we knew that Audi were going to be a step forward here, which has proven the case. But I think it'll be more difficult than previous weekends. But I think if we execute things well, the Q3 is definitely the realistic.
Well, Esteban, at least on the timesheets, you were pretty consistent. I think you were 12th in both FP1 and FP2 today. But what did they?
11th in P2. At the end, I got okay.
Maybe.
No, it says 12.
Oh no, 12. Yes, it's 12. Yeah, 12
okay.
in FP2.
Okay.
Not far off the top 10. What was the feel of the car though out there?
Yeah. I think probably, a much better Friday compared to what we had in Spa. The car felt much better. Obviously, lately we have been having a lot of difficulties, and we didn't face any, today. So it's been very positive. There's a lot of stuff that we had on the car that we're waiting for a very long time, and that's finally come. Obviously, it's only Friday. We need to keep that for tomorrow. We know sometimes from a day to another, a lot can change. So we'll try and keep what we had today, and hopefully, it will be a similar level of happiness and performance.
I know it is only Friday, but I've talked to you on a few Fridays this year, and this seems like the more encouraging based on what you're saying. So that does bode well, doesn't it, for the rest of the weekend?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's been probably the best Friday for a long time, now. So very good, very happy. I think we need to keep going.
And not easy out there because the conditions look very tricky. Track, surface conditions, and windy as it always is around.
Yeah, they were very tricky. This track is very, very hard. On tires as well. So if you don't have the stability with the car, you struggle. But it felt a lot easier than when there was no wind in some other places.
But it's been a good day from the timesheets. I know it's only Friday, but you must be pretty pleased with how things have gone for both Lewis and Charles.
Yeah, so far so good, but as you said before, it's not on Friday that you are doing the pole, and even less that you win the race. It's good to start like this the weekend, but let's see tomorrow. It will be another story. I think Norris didn't finish the laps that we will see tomorrow.
What was the early feedback from the drivers? Because they looked like they were on the pace in both sessions very early on.
It was a bit more messy today, like in the afternoon, the FP2 with traffic, red flag and so. But so far the balance is okay. That means that we will see probably a bit more tomorrow morning with car a bit more splitted on track, and it will probably a bit easier to do a proper lap, but let's see tomorrow.
The field spread was pretty big out around here. I was quite surprised by the gaps between the teams. Were you surprised by that?
Yeah, because it's difficult to keep the tires alive all the lap. It means that if you start to lose, you lose a lot, but this everybody will improve until tomorrow afternoon, and it's always like this in Budapest.
And I know the sessions were a bit disrupted, so did that make gathering long run data a little bit tricky today? I know the races. I know that the sessions were quite disrupted with the red flags. Did that make getting long run data difficult?
With the red flag on the second part, that we are not able to do a proper long stint, and it was in traffic. We have to slow down, and so it means that we didn't have a good read of the tires for the race. But I think it's the same for everybody, and let's see.
Yeah, we have listened to practice 2 interviews of the drivers today at the practice 2. As you know, as always, after the practice 1 there is no interviews, and after the practice 2 is all of the interviews of the drivers for the Friday. As always, I have took some keynotes in my mobile phone, what the drivers said, and what was the key points at practice 2, and what the drivers felt about the car and what felt about the track at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton, he was at the first position today. He was at the P1 after practice 2. He encouraged by the car's baseline pace after leading a Ferrari 1-2. He mentioned that the track was quite slippery due to cooler track temperatures, windy gusts and sections of fresh asphalt, but noted that the SF26 felt responsive and gave him a good confidence on both medium and soft compounds. We had Charles Leclerc in the second position, pleased with the overall team result and strong one-lap pace, but remained cautious. He pointed out early front lockups in the turn 1 and stressed that fine-tuning the balance for the race condition will be crucial given how the fast track conditions were evolving. We had the third position from the McLaren, Lando Norris, content with the finishing close to the front after a difficult FP1. However, he noted how tricky the car was on the edge, highlighting a near spin in the final corner during his hot lap on the softs. He emphasized that finding a consistent rear stability in Budapest's technical middle sector remains their primary challenge for the qualifying. We had Max Verstappen at the 4th position. He expressed frustration with the overall grip levels. Frustration with the overall grip levels and ongoing balance struggles, while acknowledging the gap to Ferrari. He noted that the team is still working hard to optimize their setup around the high downforce demands of the circuits. We had the 5th position from the George Russell, reported significant setup difficulties, describing his rear balance as dreadful on over the radio feedback during the session. He noted that the team has a lot of work ahead overnight to get the car into a comfortable window, and we had the surprise of the day. Kimi Antonelli had a compromise session after locking up his rears and then encountering red flags caused by the Franco Colapinto's crash. He mentioned that it needed more clean laps to build up confidence on the track. And also we have an interview from the Fernando Alonso running as the sole Aston Martin after Lance Stroll FP1 suspension damage. Alonso focused on the gathering critical baseline data for their new upgrade package. He noted that while early signs are promising, fully understanding the new aerodynamic behavior will take a time. We had Pierre Gasly highly frustrated over the radio, starting that something that felt broken or fundamentally wrong with the front of his car around turn 12, seating extremely unpredictable handling, and that was the, let's say, near the all of the interviews that we have in our video tomorrow we are going to continue with our videos after qualifying. Until tomorrow, just don't forget to like this video, to comment it, and to subscribe to the channel.